My name is Rebecca. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as EvilTwin2. You can find our group at Ravelry if you search for I'll Knit With You. You can find show notes on the blog at owlknitwithyou.blogspot.com, and you can email me at owlknitwithyou@gmail.com. Whew. How have you guys been? How are my owls and my yous? We've no new Franz this week. Sad face. But to be fair, I haven't been podcasting much lately, which I talked about in the last episode. And then I, of course, missed 2 weeks because I was on vacation, because I usually film on a Saturday or a Sunday, and I left on a Friday, and I got back Sunday night, and there was just no time to film. But that's how vacations are supposed to be, so I feel like that's not so bad. So hopefully now that I'm back and we're past a lot of emotional stuff, that podcasts will be a whole lot more frequent. So keep your fingers crossed, because we all know that sometimes I just skip a week. Life gets crazy. So let's talk about my trip to Dallas. It was fantastic. I did not get Ebola, so yay. I knit this little guy. I started knitting him right before I left, the night before I left, and then he was my airplane project, which it's a terrible idea to use DPNs on the airplane, just because if you drop one, you are out of luck. And I didn't drop it on the airplane, but I did drop one on like a public transportation like train. They call it the DART in Dallas. But I knit him the whole time. I knit him the whole time I was traveling there. So I finished his arms and legs a day or two after I arrived, and then proceeded to take pictures with him everywhere. He is an FO, but I don't have him to show you today because I knit him for my boyfriend's mom, who we watched The Walking Dead with, and he's a zombie named Zed. That's why he's missing an eye, and his mouth looks red. He's probably been eating some humans, and so he's a little brown and purple and gray because it's decaying, right, you know. And she loved him, but it was kind of cool because I like took him all over Dallas, and I was like, you know, yay. It's like the roaming gnome from Travelocity. Like, they take pictures with him everywhere, and that used to be a bigger thing, but now the commercials have kind of moved on. But it was a lot like that, so that was fun. So you can see from these pictures we did lots of interesting looking things. But when people say, what did you do in Dallas? What did you see? The answer really is like not that much touristy stuff. It was more about seeing my best friend Lydia and less about getting to see all the sights in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But we did do some fun stuff. We didn't do any cool museums or the stockyards or, what is it, Daly Plaza, where JFK was shot. We didn't do that either. But we did like a lot of fun chill stuff. Like I went to my first IKEA. When I first got there, we had In-N-Out Burger, which is not in my area at all. We had Starbucks pretty much every day, which is like my dream come true. What did I say? We went to IKEA. We did sushi several times. We went to a food truck meetup, and I got to try a bunch of different stuff, including a ice cream sandwich where the cookies were like waffle and maple syrup flavored, and then the ice cream was bacon and then pecan, maybe? Bacon pecan ice cream. I know it was a nut, and it was either walnuts or pecans, and I think it was pecans. And the wrapper for that was rice paper, so you could eat. If you don't know what rice paper is, it's like a crispy, unflavored thing usually, but it is edible, and so like you can eat the wrapper of the ice cream sandwich, which is pretty clever. It's pretty clever, because you know it's gonna get stuck to it anyway. My friend Lydia does aerial silks, like think Cirque du Soleil and the two things hanging down that they like climb up and stuff. She does that. She's pretty new to it, but her teacher had organized a big showcase for Halloween, so we got to see people doing that, and it was amazing. It was like being at like some really cool high society circus event. But just toned down a little bit because it was on Halloween. Everyone was in costume. Like the people in the crowd were in costume, and people on stage were in costume. So that was a lot of fun. We did do Halloween stuff. I dressed up both the weekend I arrived and the weekend I left. So the weekend I arrived, I dressed up as Harley Quinn. And if you don't know who she is, if you know Batman, okay, and then the Joker is his nemesis. She is the Joker's girlfriend. And she was a psychiatrist, but she met the Joker through that, and decided, like, screw it, let's be crazy, let's just date the Joker, because that seems like a good idea. So she's a little nuts, but she's fun. And then the following weekend, I was Snow White. And my friend dressed up as Moxie from Borderlands. She made her own costume. So the weekend before, like the first weekend, it was all like, oh, let me get a picture with Moxie and Harley Quinn. And the next weekend it was like, hey, Snow White, can you take a picture of me and Moxie? Because if you're gonna be in a nerdy outfit next to someone who's not in a nerdy outfit, no one wants to take a picture with Snow White. Too generic. And plus, like, I'm not the best looking Snow White, because like my costume is a cheap costume. My Harley Quinn's a little less common, but Snow White, you know, a princess costume just looks like a princess costume to people who don't know, like, specifically what it's supposed to be. But it's cool. I had a lot of fun. There was a day that my friend Lydia had to work, and she worked a few hours every day from home, but one day she had to like go into work and be there physically. And so Dallas, like the business area of Dallas is really safe. So she was like, hey, just walk around. If you get in trouble, if you have any questions, you just call me. And so, but it was really nice. It sounds kind of strange, but I just like walked around downtown Dallas and stopped in a coffee shop, stopped in a pizza shop. The coffee shop I went to was called Weekend Coffee or something very much along those lines, but it's in a hotel, so I was kind of confused where it was at first. But look at this coffee machine they have. It is like a gravity coffee making machine. They also had bottled coffee, like it looked like beer bottles of coffee, but I didn't try any of that because I didn't really have a good way to transport it. But I got a chai latte with a shot of espresso, and it was phenomenal. Like, it was, they made everything probably within the last hour, which is fantastic, compared to Starbucks, which, you know, kind of mass produces stuff. And so it was all really great. So we also did a knit night while I was down there, and it was a lot of fun. And we went to the same store twice, and it is called Holly's Yarn Shop, I think. But I will link to it in the show notes for sure. And I did pick up some stuff, but of course you're gonna have to wait till my stash. As for spinning, I have done no spinning because, I mean, after the last podcast, I have to get my I have to get, sorry, I just like blanked out there. I have to get my order of the Phoenix done before middle of November for the house cup. And then I have to have my owl done by the end of November. So that's a sweater and 2 shawls, one of which is done. And I had to have my owl 50% before the end of October. So with taking a whole week off for travel, that's kind of difficult. But if you don't do the 50%, then you can't submit your full. Like, you have to have it done by that point in order to then submit your final later on. So let's get into whips, shall we? Last time you saw, I had 1 full sleeve, and now I have 1 sleeve plus a 2nd sleeve. Check this out. This one has a whole lot. Like, I have woven in all these ends, and I have not woven in all these ends. This is the Blue Moon Fiber Arts. I think this is sport weight. I want to say it's sport weight. Hold on, I got a wrapper right here. This is BFL Sport Blue Moon Fiber Arts. Oh, look at me, I'm so good at this. It is 100% Blue Face Leicester. And I'm doing it in about 5 different colorways, so if you want to see all that, I will link to my project page. But and I could probably name them off if you really want me to, so let me try. Immediately, I don't know what these are. Never mind. So I have 2 full sleeves, and since I already had a half of the body, that means I'm totally at 50%. I haven't really worked on it since then because I have to get my Order of the Phoenix done first. So top priority is that, and then I will be moving on to my awesome sweater, which I'm really excited about. I cannot wait until I have attached the sleeves because I think it'll look like it makes more sense then, if that makes more sense. And I think it's gonna turn out great. I'm super pumped about everything. So, which is a really good place to be for a sweater and not be like, I'm done with the sleeves, I'm done with halfway through the body, and this is a mess. No. And I actually took Amy Herzog's Fit to Flatter Craftsy class, which I've mentioned a couple times, to make sure that my shaping is correct. Now, one of my sleeves is a little bit tighter than the other one because I like overdid the shaping, but it's gonna be fine. And then the body should be not like tightly snug fit, but like correctly fit. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. I am right under my bust line, so that means I have a lot of increases to do. But you know, we'll get there. But yeah, I'm really excited about how that's going. So speaking of my owl, last time I showed you the wingspan, and this time I will show you my almost done hitchhiker. So a hitchhiker has 42 teeth, for those of you who do not know. And I'm at 40 as of today. Today I'm just like vegging out and watching TV all day long. This is yarn that I dyed myself with Kool-Aid in mason jars, and if you want to hear more about that, you can check out some older podcasts. I think it might have been the last one. So it's kind of got this like variegated, stripey almost. It's got some fun pooling in it. I don't know, I think it's really fantastic. And I'm doing this Order of the Phoenix with Maria Samria, who actually sent me the yarn to dye because she's a doll. I keep hitting my elbow on the door handle. Sorry about that. So this is going fantastic. It's going to be completely massive. I've almost used up my first cake. I don't know if I'll have to break into my second one or not, but probably yes. That's how much I have left. So it's pretty hollow, and there's like nothing left. So that's pretty dang exciting. I've knit a hitchhiker once before, but it was not one solid color, and I think I almost like this better. Cause just look, it's just nice. I don't know if I'll keep it or give it as a Christmas gift, but we will see, won't we? So that is going fantastically. So I overpack every time I go somewhere, like seriously overpack. On my way home in the airport, I was trying to go through security, and before I even went through, one of the people who worked for the, wow, words suck today. Some of the people who worked for the airport were like, listen, you are going to need to rearrange stuff in your bag because there's no way that's carry-on size. It's too puffy. You know, you got to slim it down this way. Like, it's the right, like, dimensions, but they're sticking out too far because I didn't really fold my clothes when I packed. I just kind of threw them in my suitcase. And I had rolled everything on the way down there because I was like, I got this. So then on the way back, it was, like, extremely hard to zip, and I didn't even buy that many souvenirs, so that was kind of silly. But one of the reasons it was so full is because I had packed way too much yarn. Like, I packed 2 50-gram balls of sock yarn, another ball of sock yarn, chroma yarn from Knit Picks to make a hat out of. I packed a bunch of purple yarns to make a scarf out of. Like, when did I think I was going to have all this time to knit? I mean, I did work on my hitchhiker on the plane ride back because those needles are on a circular, so that I can't really drop it. Like, it's hard you can't drop a circular needle while it's in a project, right? So it's way safer. But I also packed my super tiny 9-inch needle because I wanted to show my friend Lydia how that worked. And I started the sock. So you may have remembered that when I dyed yarn with the Fiber Guild that's down here, I dyed some purple and green, as in the Joker's colorway, because that's my boyfriend's favorite colors. Are you sensing a Batman theme of this episode? Because there's kind of a little bit of a Batman theme. So this is the yarn itself, and it's kind of hard to tell. How's it going to knit up? Is it going to knit up striped? Is it not going to knit up striped? I didn't know for sure. And somehow the green stripes just totally overwhelm the purple, which is totally fine. I mean, there's no, like, it doesn't need to be one way or the other, but my sock is turning out fantastic. I'm going to do an afterthought heel for him, so I'm going to have him try the sock on and then figure out where the heel needs to go from there. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit of mustache just because it's, like, totally irrelevant. So my 9-inch circular needles that I had prior to my trip were 0s. And those made socks that were great for me, but they were just a smidge snug, and he has wider feet than I do, which is saying something because I have incredibly wide feet. And so I bought US size 1 circular 9-inch needles, high sharps again because they're exactly what I wanted. So these are my new needles. These are size 1, so this is not on a size 0 as my previous tiny circs were. But the striping is turning out fantastic, and I totally love it. So, yay! So from sock, you know, you can see You can see how that's coming out. There's a lot more white where I totally didn't dye things the right way. But it was my very first time dyeing things, and my boyfriend is going to be wearing them as socks. It's not like it's a sweater. It's not like, I mean, not everyone's going to see this all the time. So it's totally not even a big deal. He's excited to get socks. He was like, you can knit whatever pattern you want. And then of course I do like the super plain vanilla, nothing's going on. But I didn't want to ever look at it and go, oh no, I did this part wrong, I've got to start over. I just wanted to be able to knit them. So they're a fantastic throw it in my purse project. I turned a couple of lights on because it was getting a little dark in my room. Kind of weird because I mean it is like 4 o'clock and I've kind of been procrastinating all day because that's what I do. So now I have like a weird shadow on my mouth, but that is because the camera is in front of me and the light is behind the camera. I didn't suddenly grow a mustache because that would be pretty impressive actually. I don't know. And I don't know if my relatives watch this podcast, but right now I hope not. So, I knit my mom this multi-directional scarf, and you're seeing a little black shadow here because of the camera. So I'm gonna try and like hold it up here. That probably will get rid of it. And this scarf pattern is free. I knit it on needles that are a size that I could not tell you what they are, but then it's on my project page, I promise. It was a really fun knit, and the cool part is that I used 3 different balls of yarn. So we've got, like, this is the back side. We've got this shiny purple. We've got this purple, like, dark purple variegated. And then we've got this green, which actually changes color throughout the scarf because it's kind of a Noro type yarn in the way that you think of Noro as like an ever-changing, never the same color ball of yarn. Again, I'm showing you the wrong side, sorry. Here, this is better. There's no like ends woven in. So, but I think the variegatedness of the second ball and then the absolute color changes in the third ball really make this scarf a lot of fun because it's like, now that's not a shadow, that is actually like black in the middle, and then it's like, you know, lighter over here, and then it's even like green, so it just gives it like an extra dimension. And I just alternated yarn every 2 rows, so turned out great. When you start new triangles, if you do multiple balls of yarn, you have to cut the yarn because it's just on the wrong side of everything, because what you're doing is a lot of short row stuff. But it's really, really fun short rows. And if you've never done short rows and they kind of freak you out, this scarf, hold it over here, this scarf would be a perfect place to start because it introduces it in a way where your short rows are a whole lot less terrifying. I don't know, it just didn't seem like that scary of a thing. So I really liked it a lot. I'm gonna try to move my camera really quick and see if we can get rid of the shadow that's right here because I need to show you more stuff. Okay, so the shadow should be gone now. Both my hands are showing up great. I'm going to show you the scarf just one more time so you can see all of it really well without, like, is that a shadow? Is that not a shadow? Sorry. So one more time, here is the scarf. Wrong side. This is, yeah, this is the right side. So you can see there really is that dark black in the middle, which I think just kind of looks really cool. So it turned out really great. I'm definitely going to have to block it because it wants to kind of curl a little bit. Like, it's almost got like a, see how it's curling at the bottom? It won't lay flat. So it's going to have to be blocked before I give it to her, which is no big deal. I need to be better about blocking things anyway. So I get a little lazy with it. Now let's move on to mustache. I'm super excited. Okay, so before I even left, I had participated in Spinzilla through the Supernatural Yarn group, and I won a prize. And because I won a prize, I also ordered something from her shop so she could just ship it all together because she gave us a discount code. So I'm going to show you that first. So not only did she send what I won, but she also sent some like little gifts that she made for everybody. So I got this fantastic orifice hook. This awesome bead on the end. So I've only ever had one orifice hook. I've never bought a new one, so I'm excited to use this. I'm trying to put it somewhere where I can find it later. Okay. We also got, sorry, this Acromantula's Layer Fall Training button. And then we got, this might be my favorite part actually. We got a stitch marker that has a spinning wheel on it. I want to make sure I show you the right side in case one side of the thing is flat. So check that out. Isn't that just the most beautiful thing ever? I'm trying to get it to lay against my hand. Look at it, it's awesome. It's so pretty. So that is what came with, that was, everybody got that for participating, which is like the coolest, sweetest thing ever of her. And then I got my choice of fiber from her shop, and I picked Monster Mash, which is BFL top, 4 ounces, and it would have cost me 20 bucks. So here it is with the label if you want to see Supernatural yarn. And I will totally be linking to her shop on Etsy because she's completely fantastic and I might be a little obsessed. You'll be seeing more of her stuff soon because I joined one of her clubs. So here it is all unwrapped, and it feels so soft. So it's like greens. Look, I totally matched up by accident. Purple, blue. So green, purple, blue, green, purple, blue. Wait. Green, purple, blue, purple, green, purple, blue, purple. Green, purple, blue, purple. It's pretty exciting. I would love to fractally spin this because Josh Ricks of the Sword of a Knitter podcast just fractally spun some yarn himself. And then I saw his picture of something he knit with it, and it just looked so gorgeous, and I'm like, I need to do this. So that might be what I attempt. I've never fractally spun before, but he explained it really, really well, and I think I could do it. I think I could figure it out. I think the hardest part for me would be remembering which end is the right end to start with, but since these are mirror images, like it's repetitive, I could use either end and it would be correct, which would be fantastic. So this is, I can't rock back up like she did, like that was impressive. So this is my fiber, which I'm super, super, super pumped about. And then what I bought was this, it's called Dragon Pox Rash. It's on the Zombie Sock, which is 85% merino, 15% NEP, and it's a 2-ply. It's 438 yards, 100 grams, and completely beautiful. So it has, it's almost like this heathery look. Look at that, it's phenomenal. I super can't wait to knit with it. I have no idea what I'm gonna make, but I'm excited about it. I also need to look up what NEP is because I don't have any idea if that makes the socks stronger or if that means it's better suited to not be a sock. But it is called a zombie sock, like that's the base. So I don't know, I need to figure this out. But I'm not gonna knit with it right this very second. But so now we're gonna get to what I bought at Dallas. Okay, here's the name of the yarn shop. It is Holly's Yarn Shop. I was totally right. Here's her very cute bag. And everyone in there was super helpful and totally sweet. And this bag is very crinkly. So, of course, I told you I got the Hiya Sharps. And you might see one in here. That's my 0. I didn't want to lose it. They're very small. So I just put it back in there. I got some Regia in Viva Color. So this is my first Regia. I didn't buy my first Regia because my first Regia is for like kid socks, or they're like 50 gram balls. And this one is for a whole set of socks. Yeah. So kind of not seeing the green. The green's showing up kind of gray, and I guess it kind of is kind of gray. I know the Knit More Girls just released a whole thing about how the reds in Regia are a mess right now. So we will see. I usually hand wash the first time to make sure that any dye that could come off isn't going to come off in my washer and dryer. So that eliminates a lot of the problem for me, although it doesn't really protect against fading, which is the whole issue they've been having. And if you want to hear more about that, check out their podcast. They do extensive coverage of it and even tell you how to fix it before it happens. But I'm totally, I mean, I'm not knitting to get an exact replication of what's on the sock ball. So I'm not really worried about it. And then, okay, so I bought this yarn, which looks like a total mass of fluff. And you're thinking, Rebecca, why? So this is 64% kid mohair, 25% wool, and 11% nylon. And I bought it for a very specific reason. And you can see here, it is just like fluffy with some yarn, right? So Andrew's niece declared to me last winter when I got this book that she wanted this, what do you call it? Sorry. Andrew's niece declared that she wanted this object out of this book that her mom bought me last Christmas, so Andrew's sister. She really wants... What's her pattern information? This is just like the what you'll need, so I think I'll just show this page. Okay. She really wants these fairy wings from the Woodland Knits book, which is a Tiny Owl Knits collection. So, these fairy wings. I'll show you a better picture of them. It is... I mean, I totally bought the correct yarn, but they just look like a whole lot of pain in the butt because you have to wrap that around a piece of metal. So they... Okay, that's too much information. Let me do it this way. Okay. So they look like a lot of fun, but they also look like a ton of hassle. What they're wearing them on is I-cord. I might use ribbon instead. And they are shaped like that because of some metal. So I don't know how that's gonna work out. We will see. But she's been asking for them since last Christmas. And every time she sees me, she's worse than my mom. She's like, you gonna knit that for me yet? You gonna knit that for me yet? Have you started knitting that for me yet? So I really should do it. I think she would be adorable. I might make them bigger so they aren't so tiny. But then again, this is for a like 5-year-old, and people in this picture are like 30s, 20s. I don't know. They're full height, and she is not. So well, I bought the yarn. I have the yarn now, so we'll see what happens. I guess I'll say it that way. So my 5 favorite things are going to Dallas. That was completely awesome, and seeing Lydia, and I had so much fun. Seeing Andrew when I got off the plane, that was pretty fantastic. My 3rd one would have to be getting all the cool stuff from Spinzilla and the Supernatural Yarn stuff, which it's all together. The Holly Yarn Shop yarn, and then almost being done with all of my I'll Knit With You like big projects. That's really exciting. That's done. So in the House Kept news, I set a goal with several other people to knit at least 2,000 yards every month. Knit and spin. So I've been doing pretty good so far. I haven't added any yardage for my sweater, so that should really just blow this month out of the water because I'll count it all this month. Plus the yardage from my hitchhiker and the yardage from my scarf, which I did as a whip the first, which means I finished it on the 1st and submitted it to a class that's called Detention, which means you can submit stuff from any other time period whenever you started it. And as long as Detention is a class where you can submit projects that you started before the current month. And if you had whatever yardage you knit during the actual term counts for yardage, and if you knit something from before that, it does not count. So that is pretty exciting. And then after I get done with my hitchhiker, I'm going to immediately start working on my sweater. And of course I have my pair of socks that go everywhere with me. So those should all be considerable yardage, not counting the Christmas gifts I still plan on making that I'm totally running out of time to make. So we will see how all of it goes. I don't know what'll happen. But as of right now, I'm feeling pretty good, feeling pretty secure. I need to knit another monster this month because I also vowed to knit a monster every month. So my first month, it was my red and blue monster. Last month, it was Zed. So this month, it needs to be something. I may knit another Voodoo You Love Me because that pattern was so fantastic. It's a really good beginner knit toy making pattern because she'll say stop here and fill this with your fluff because you're gonna run out. You're not gonna have time to do this next time. And it's very much written for someone who maybe has never done a stuffy before, and so it's really fun. If I do it, I may do it with this yarn. This was my Hot Air Balloon Ride in yellow, so I showed you this a while back, but I think I could knit a worsted one this way, and my last one was sock yarn, so it was a lot smaller. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I have not decided for sure yet. So it's all going really, really well. Knitting has now flown with me everywhere. And I'm having a great time. So remember, until next time, if you're on a plane, on a train, in an automobile, sitting at home, knitting as you will, I will knit with you. Bye, guys.